down to that road.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our show. Hey, Crystal, Gary, how's everybody doing tonight? I want to give a shout out to Chris Hensley. Thank you for fixing my audio there.
Just say, I hear your music.
Yeah. Can you believe all it was a chord? Unbelievable. Sit there for about an hour and a half, Mike and Barb, trying to figure out what was wrong with my audio.
Oh, no.
That sounds like my technology abilities.
Yeah.
Hey, Gene, Gary, welcome to the show. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday evening. Hello, everybody. So how are y'all doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Just fine.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So what you been up to, Mike? I'm glad you're back. Hopefully everybody's doing okay.
Well, we've had a little whirlwind and part of the last several months. My father-in-law passed recently, and then dealing with everything with that. The funeral was last week, and travel. He's 250 miles. He lived closer to you, Grizzly, than he did me, Glasgow, Kentucky. So,
yeah.
So we've been beating the pavement back and forth for the last couple of weeks, and the funeral was last weekend, and get some things situated and so forth, and then you come back to work, and I'm also the athletic director at the school that I'm at, and you're in the middle of ball seasons and things like that. So it's been ball games the last 2 nights, ball games the next 2 nights, and I get one night off. And hey, I'm getting on Grizzly's show tonight. I don't want to miss it.
Wow, we're glad to have you back.
We miss you.
Yeah,
definitely miss you.
This is the therapy in the unsettling world, to sit down and talk with some good friends from around the country about Bigfoot, and that's I see that as therapeutic.
Definitely, it is, and I'll tell you one thing: the guy on our last show we had, Mike, you missed it. Appalachian Terror from Hartman
County. That was a good show. Ooh, that was good. There he is. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he used to be in the Bigfoot cryptid world, and he saw Bigfoot. He had an encounter in Harlan. He lives out in the mountains.
Yeah.
And ever since he had a Bigfoot encounter, unfortunately, his encounter kind of ruined his, I don't know, how would you say it? It does like a lot of people. It kept him out of the woods, and he doesn't do any investigations anymore. So he's kind of slowly getting back into it a little more.
Right.
But a lot of people don't understand how these encounters affect people. Like you don't know, I did an investigation in the cemetery, and it's kind of funny, but I actually thought I had a ghost running at me in the cemetery during my live investigation on camera, and I froze. I thought I was being attacked, Mike, by a ghost. It came out of the dark. It was transparent, and I didn't pick up a camera. I froze live during talking to everybody, and I just locked onto it, and my daughter didn't know what was going on, and as it was coming towards me, I was losing my cool, and I realized as it went by, it was a guy on a bicycle in the middle of a cemetery.
Guy on a bicycle.
Yeah, it about gave me a heart attack. And then I lost it afterwards, right? Because then I realized what it was. So it is like, and then people want to know why didn't you grab your camera and film it? Well, because I froze. I freaked out. I lost my cool on the air. Yeah. You know, and I had all the equipment right there, Mike, to film right there. I could have picked up a camera and hit a button, but I didn't. I froze.
you're thinking you're in that situation and you go into it pre-planned and you're thinking, okay, if this happens, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do that.
Right.
And then when the moment comes about,
it's all
throw everything out the window.
Every bit of it. It was gone.
Yep. Everything out the window. And I've had a couple of people. Well, one of the ones that got me into this, one of the people over on this side, Steve Nabowski, he went 20 years, and never got back after an encounter, and then showed up at one of our local meetings one night with the SEMO Bigfoot group, and I said, "Hey, I want to kind of get started doing this. Will you get back into it?" He's like, "I need to." Yeah, I will. And to see that progression, but so many people have shared the same thing. And if my first encounter was like a lot of these people, that'd be the same way. I've been fortunate enough to come through this gradually, see, tons of evidence before interactions. So,
right.
100%.
Yeah. And it just goes to show. And like I said, Mike, I had everything right then and there to capture anything that was feasible or possible to capture. I was ready. But when that moment happened, I froze and I panicked. And I was in disbelief what I was seeing.
Yeah.
I did. And
Mike, it was worth its weight. It was worth its weight in gold. And the entertainment value alone, you have to go back and watch it. I was dying laughing.
Me
I'm
too.
gonna go back and watch that.
My side was hurting. I was laughing so hard.
Watch that one.
I was up on a ladder painting my house. Barb would be a ghost because I would the fall that I would have taken. And because I had my phone in in that packet that I wear around my neck and my headphones in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm like, what's happening? And then I realized that you're laughing, and I start laughing, and then my husband's like, what is going on over there? Are you okay? And I'm like, oh, this is so funny. He's like, well, you just about fell off the ladder. You better stop watching it. I'm like, I'm not stopping now.
I think I was in the middle of the talking when it appeared. And I just stopped talking, and
you kind of
came out of the dark.
You tracked it for a good 30 seconds, just doing this real slow.
Yeah.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you,
you're like an owl. Your head turned all the way around the other direction. Yeah. You're like, what the hell was that? It was awesome. It was funny. That's what you get for hanging out in a graveyard at night.
And then, with FDL Paranormal, they're like, well, how do you think that guy on the bicycle felt seeing your face lit up in the middle of the cemetery?
That's a good
And I was like, well, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Were you
and that's probably why you pedal faster. So, hell, I don't know.
Yeah, you probably scared the shit out of him.
Where were you? Were you in a van or like?
No, I've got equipment. Okay. I had a table, my laptop. I had all the equipment laid out. Just yeah. So I had my broadcasting station. So yeah.
What's happening?
So I guess I scared the hell out of him too. I don't know, but I mean, there's just I had a half of a moon, Mike, right? So only thing that's lighting me up is my laptop, the monitor. Wow. So I can't see anything but tombstones and lights on the tombstones and the what do you call those big slabs where they keep the bodies in? They got the stained glass.
Oh, like a
mausoleums. Yeah. They're lit up with the stained glass. Yeah. So I'm trying to fixate on those because I'm thinking I'm seeing like shadows. I'm like, okay, some of those are blinking, so they're solar lights, right?
Oh,
and then I'm just talking out of nowhere. It's just like appears and it's like running towards me, and I'm like,
oh.
It just catches me way off guard. I guess I was talking or so. I don't remember what happened. It just appeared. Mm-hmm. And I didn't grab a camera. I just freaked out and lost my cool. So, but yeah.
He was laughing so hard, but you had me rolling.
Me too.
I thought I was going to die. So, I mean, now, can you imagine if that was a cryptid? I probably would have dropped dead at the table.
Oh no! Oh God!
So,
Wow.
because I told everybody, Mike, I told everybody on other shows, I'm going somewhere. Don't play a prank on me because I'm retired. I'm going to have a heater with me. So,
Well,
beware.
hopefully the plot you have picked out is not too far away. I mean, it'd been right there.
Oh gosh! Drop you in. Well, that's terrible.
So yeah, right. Yeah, it was interesting. We did have some activity though. It was very interesting, but it was
I can
interesting.
see you firing off that heater. I
Oh,
can see
man.
you firing off that heater.
I'm glad
Remember
you
the
didn't
old
shoot it.
Casper the Friendly Ghost cartoons? The bullet just goes right through it and doesn't phase it.
Hey,
Yeah.
trust me, the bullets are blessed with holy water. So yes, I got that covered.
I don't know what that would do though. You can't kill them, right? Because they're
No. Oh no! I'd have holy water. I had anointment oil. I had everything with me, crucifixes. I didn't grab none of that. I was just deer in headlights.
Yeah.
So and poor Shelby was just like, trying to figure out what I'm doing, right? So, but
Trying to keep your bladder under control, huh?
Yeah.
Bladder, more than that. I don't know how I sat in the damn chair. So, and then I lost it once I realized it was a guy on a bike. Then I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Appalachian Tales of Terror. It was interesting that he told his encounter with Bigfoot. It was heartbreaking in one moment, but it just goes to show that people don't realize that people's encounters, the lifelong effects that it has on people. It really does, and we hear this all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So.
True. Yep.
Yeah.
Gene, setting the fun aside, your daughter Shelby was a rock star. I agree. I didn't know that was her first, ever.
Yeah.
First time. Fit right in. You can tell apple don't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Woo.
That was interesting.
Wow.
So when are you going to go back, Mike, and check your gifting bucket and stuff?
Oh, here in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be able to. Probably not this weekend. Is probably the weekend after, or the weekend after that. I should have a chance to get back out that way, and and I'm looking forward to that. I did talk to my buddy the other day about it, and he says the Bigfoots they're very active over there right now. It's a good time of the year, and they really. He's producing still, his farm's producing a lot of produce and things like that. So they're, he shares with them as well. So they're not doing without treats, but but I mentioned a few weeks ago about the one younger juvenile getting into his poultry pen. Apparently that has stopped, and they kind of got that young little lad straightened out, I guess, if you will, to quit doing that.
Great,
but
though.
So I the other interesting thing is being the athletic director at my school. In Monday night, we were playing, we had an event against a team from out west over into the Missouri Ozarks, and their athletic director, he and I have communicated with scheduling with the different sports and stuff like that via email and texting. Never met him in the past couple of months. And I noticed that a person with the same name joined the SEMO Bigfoot and Cryptid Facebook page. And my friend Susan Perez welcomed me. I said, that's the same guy. Sure enough, it's the same person. So I sent him back a text. I said, hey, I didn't know you're into this. So we were at the same event Monday night, and instead of talking about the kids and the ball games, we were talking Bigfoot.
Wow.
Two athletic directors.
Cool. That's fun.
And he shared a story. I guess the one story, this is a cool story, and this is over in Wayne County, Missouri, which is over Mark Twain National Forest area and things of that nature. He said he was too young to be part of this, but he said his dad and his uncle, his dad's brother, and his older cousin were coon hunting trip, and they parked the truck and and the dogs take out after the coon. And he said, the uncle says, well, I'm going to go check on the dogs and see what they've got. And he takes off, and his dad says, well, he says, he tells the boy, he says, you stay here at the truck, and I'm going to go check on your dad and the dogs, and we'll be back in a little bit. So he took off. And while they're out there with the coon dogs, all of a sudden, they hear a couple of the nice Bigfoot yells out and about there near them in the woods, and they get a little terrified. They're like, okay, this is not XYZ, not a mountain lion, not this, not that. It's loud, it's unknown, it's scary. Let's get the dogs and go back to the truck. When they got back to the truck, they couldn't find his cousin. They couldn't find him anywhere. And they were looking all over. Where's he at? Well, he was in the floorboard of the back of the pickup, the little extended cab pickup truck in the back seat, laying face down, had all the doors locked and the windows up, and was just a shivering.
Oh.
And so when they asked him what's going, he said, well, as soon as Jason, the guy I was talking to, as soon as his dad, which would have been the cousin's uncle, as soon as he left, coming right past the truck, right behind him, following him into the woods, was some big, huge, hairy giant walking on two legs.
Wow.
Followed him directly into the woods. He said, I thought you guys would not come back out alive. Because they had no idea about Bigfoot being in the woods. You talk about, he said, I thought you guys would, he goes, the only thing I thought I could do was just lock these doors and just hide until somebody came and found me. He goes, and I didn't think it'd be you guys. And of course, they heard the yells and the things like that, but nothing really came close and threatened them. But he said what he saw. He goes, and Dad said, it had to have been a Bigfoot. That's the only thing it could have been. But that was his first that he had heard about it as a kid. And then, of course, it had some interest, but doesn't really have any. So I told him, I said, well, where I go to over in Madison County, where he's at is over on the other side of that. So I told him, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I said, we'll get together. I'll have you meet me over in Madison County sometime. I said, and we'll have a whole lot more fun than we will at these ball games.
Wow.
So,
wow, that's cool.
But that, I need to talk to his cousin and ask, because he's probably, after that situation, very well could be one of those traumatized individuals that don't want to go back and have anything else to do with it.
Right.
No doubt.
And that was, and I shared this in the story before, that was my son. My son would go out with me some, and he would go and, we had experiences in that, but when he had that one experience by himself, when he got chased out of the woods, he didn't want to have anything to do with it anymore. No, I'm not going out with you. I don't have anything to do with that. So
is he still like that, Mike? He's still.
Yeah. He'll go hunt, but he hunts at a private hunting club and different things like that. It's a little more, he does not want to, go into unknown woods. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Do you think, he heard and right? He never actually saw one. Is that
he
right?
never actually saw one.
We heard them.
He's heard them, and he knows, he's seen the evidence and heard the evidence right alongside me. So he knows good and well what's out there.
Wow.
That's that's really just so compelling when things like that happen with people, because what would be their motivation? Not to to pretend like they saw or heard something, so people give them attention and then they never go out. No, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's sad.
And the other side is, and like the show that I've done is understanding Bigfoot, and the other side is to try to get an understanding of them. Is this great big old hairy giant of a thing is so interested in what these humans are up to, but yet he keeps he's keeping a far enough away distance to where they can't see him, and he's not doing them any harm at that particular at that particular point. So it also shows another side to them as well, and that's what but when you're in that situation as a human and you come across that, you have no idea what they're thinking or what they might do or what they're capable of doing, and it's a whole different ball game.
Did those guys I see you will have to talk to the the nephew or the cousin? I mean, what did they
Jason's cousin. I'd love to just talk to him about
what did he think it was?
What have you thought since then? What has been your experience since then?
And did he think at the time that it was a Bigfoot, or did he have no idea?
He didn't know. Okay. He didn't know.
Oh,
he was a kid at that time. He just saw what it was, and when he described it, the adults immediately like Bigfoot. It had to be Bigfoot, but it goes under the category of these people that spend their entire lifetime in the woods, hunting, fishing, things like that, enjoying the outdoors, and not even having a clue of the existence when they're right in their area until it's like I said, if somebody like me or Chris, if you, or even in your case, Barb, you start seeing a bunch of evidence before you come across them.
Right.
And then you're in the midst of all the evidence for some period of time, and you're thinking, okay, they're here and they're not hurting me.
Yeah.
So if you are lucky enough to have the experience like you had a few weeks ago, you're a little bit more at ease.
Definitely.
Than what the person with that, oh my goodness, the shock of it. So and they can be somewhat intimidating with that size, and especially if they make some kind of noise that you're not familiar with. Lynn Gasper says if he grunts at you, grunt back at him, but that's easy for Lynn. That's easy for a buddy Lynn to say, but when he's 10 foot tall,
why don't you just beat your chest while you're at it? No, not a good idea.
I do not recommend that, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like you said, you don't know what you're gonna how a person is going to react given any situation.
Yeah,
that's fight or flight.
Or they'll tell you, Cantrell and those guys, if they sway with them. But when you're sitting, if you have that, you're like, I don't know what he's gonna react to when I do. I'm just gonna freeze. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna freeze.
Yeah.
Well, every animal's got their own thing, right? I mean, just like people know and understand dogs and cats and the whispers, as so to speak, the horse whispers.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows exactly what they're gonna do, so it's probably not a good idea to mimic them.
I would.
They could be giving you warning, and so if you give them a warning back, it's probably a sign of a threat.
That's not something I'm interested in doing.
No,
right off the bat.
So.
I think it's interesting in what you're saying about how people react, and I was talking to Grizzly before. I call it the Santa Claus theory. It's kind of like the kid that learns, hey, Santa Claus isn't real. That just blows their whole world up.
Oh yeah.
Well, a kid can probably, it can be traumatic. Imagine as an adult all your life not thinking anything like this exists. You've been a hunter, been a fisher, been out in the woods, and then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, what else exists? So it's kind of the reverse,
and I just think how my dad reacted this past summer when I was out with him, and then my sister Becky was out with him, and he was just freaking out and going nuts that you better get back in the car. You better do this. You better. I'm going to keep the motor. It's like, relax, calm down, relax.
Yeah. But his first,
Yeah, if you'd have told me to relax that night I got on the bike, I would have told you to go fly. I don't know what I would have done. I would probably would have grabbed a hold of you and probably cut your circulation off.
Grizz, if I would have been with you and we observed that same circumstance, I probably would have been right with you. Like, didn't sign up for it to be like this.
Let alone a Bigfoot walk by or whatever. I mean, Lord have mercy. So
yeah, one of those running at you. Woo!
So yeah. So what's been going on at your place, Barb?
It's been relatively quiet, but I think that they've been more active. I was telling, wait, who was that? What one of you guys, what was it? Grizzly or Chris? One night late, I was looking at my phone, and it was a night that I was going to watch my cameras. And so I went to the back lower deck camera, and I'm watching in this area that looks suspicious, watching. And then I'm like, I'm just going to, look at all around. And I look over to the bottom of the picture, and there's this massive head, like looking right at me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to turn the video off. It was too scary because it was like looking right at me.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah, I got I want to see, I was able to
Did it go like
no.
Now that yeah.
That would have been funny.
No, but it was like I'm trying to see if I can, can I get this picture of it that I kind of, like extracted from the video, from the video. And it's not going to be the greatest.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I can see Mike and myself out in the woods. I would lose my cool. Mike would be like, Grizzly, calm down. Just talk to it. Screw that.
Yeah.
Grizzly, it's okay. Hello, how are you?
That's easy to say. That's easy to say that I would say that now.
Right. Oh, crap. Okay, so
I can see me in the tent with Mike. Mike, are you really talking to it? Are you like?
I don't know. It's not. I don't know what am I doing. It's.
Well, I had that opportunity. I had that opportunity about a year ago, camping in the tent, and he was standing right outside the tent, within 5 feet of where I was sitting, and I froze. I'm telling myself I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him, and I froze, and I didn't say a word to it. Walked off, and I'm sitting there thinking I should have said something. But at the time you're thinking, but if I do say something, how is it going to react?
Right.
And I don't know. So
Bill Howard has a question. I'll let you answer it, Mike. What intelligence level do you believe these creatures are compared to other animals?
My experience is, in some ways, they're smarter than us. Now, in some ways, they may not be, but in some ways, the way these guys are so disciplined among their family units that they live in, and so resourceful, but yet so discreet. The people don't know they're there, and they're highly intelligent. Some of the most intelligent things I've encountered.
What about you, Chris?
I think they're definitely smarter. How could you be, 600, 700, 800 pounds running around the woods and not be caught?
Yeah.
There's something that we can't understand, and there's something that whether it's technology, whether it's biological advancements that we can't wrap our heads around yet. Right. But yeah, they do show signs of primitive behavior in some aspects, but there's definitely something way more than what we know, and that's the big mystery that surrounds it, right?
Well, you look at Brian's case, right, with the peanut butter jars.
Yeah.
That they can unscrew the lids.
Yeah.
peel back the tinfoil, put the lids back on, right?
Yeah.
So we hear instances where they take twigs and leave them in formations of houses, right? Picture glyphs, hieroglyphs, however you want to call them, structures, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And we also hear of instances while Barb's getting her video where campers will leave sticks out where they would say, we have 5 campers, so here's 5 sticks.
Yes.
And they will respond back. There's 3 sticks. There's 3 of us, because they want to know how many people that are in the woods with them, and they'll respond back. So there are communications.
And they know numbers. They know, that they have that, and it's to me it's incredible. And I literally, during firearm deer season here in Southeast Missouri, which that's like a national holiday. Everybody participates in that. I literally have seen in a public conservation area in my county. I've seen when the hunter, every time a hunter walks across the threshold to the parking lot, you hear a yahoo from about 75 yards away. And then 15 minutes later, the next hunter comes out of the woods, you hear the yahoo. And he does that until the last hunter is out. And then they know, okay, hunters are out of the woods. Now we can roam the woods without fear of being shot at. And then they go start doing their thing. And I sit there and observe that. And when these hunters come out, it's the yahoo is plain as day. They're totally oblivious to what they just, they're like, to them, it's a natural sound of the forest or something. They're just not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Right. Bill also says, and we actually did a show on this, Bill. Let me click on it. Where'd it go? Bill also says maybe feral humanish. Now, in the Appalachian Trail, we actually, on one of our shows, we did a feral human in Appalachian Terror knows about. We actually have feral humans that actually lives in the Appalachian Trail in the mountains. We call them you ever seen the movie, Bill? The Hills Have Eyes. That's what they look like. We have reports that they're disfigured. They live off the grid. We don't know if it's a mixture of these creatures or humans. I don't want to say inbred, but it is what it is. But they root through trash. But we actually had a guy that was in the search and rescue talk about missing 411, talk about the Martin case, where the kid was 7 to 9 years old, was on the Appalachian Trail with the parents, and they met up with another family with the kid around the same age, and they went to play hide and seek and scared the hell of the parents on the trail. And the parents knew the kid wore a red shirt, and they went up the trail 40, 50 feet, and the parents saw him, right? And they went to jump out the bush. Well, one of the kids did, the other kid didn't. And make a long story short, the National Guard got brought in, and so did the Green Beret. And
with
why
no
did
guns.
the Green Beret? And they put in the paper, which got scrubbed, and they put in there no guns. And it was weird because I did research on it years ago, and it's weird how things change over the years online. But during the rescue search, one of the FBI agents that was involved actually came across this cave with a lot of human remains, skeletons. And he came forward and told his superiors what he found and gave the coordinates of the cave. And he was really distraught over what he found. And they were like, don't worry about it. Well, we already know. And he's like, what do you mean you already know? He's just, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And they didn't do anything about it. And so he was like, well, because the townspeople were like, what? Why is the Green Beret here? In the National Guard. and because that brought up a lot of controversy over this missing child. So they knew what was going on in this area. So there's a big conspiracy about this. So nothing happened, and this FBI agent was so distraught over this case and what he found. He allegedly went home and took his own life. Oh. And we had a search and rescue person that had put 30 plus years on the forestry part team that knew this case and knew about this agent that was going to come on our show. And we had him booked. We was going to hide his identity, bill, and everything. And he was going to expose everything and say, yes, this actually happened, and this is the encounter. And we was like, wow, this is going to actually happen. And everything was fine until the last 40 minutes before we went live. And he said he couldn't do it. His retirement and pension, he just couldn't do it. He didn't feel comfortable not showing his face, changing his voice. He backed out and he got cold feet in the last minute.
That's
so
yeah, that's
it is right.
Yeah.
Exposing something like that. So anytime that, so people in that area knows that there are feral humans that live. It's common knowledge. And there are people in Tennessee, Bill, just like Barb and Mike, that encounter these, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or creatures, or however you want to call them, Bill, that encounter them on a regular basis, live in the area. It's common knowledge. And they'll go to the local gas station or grocery store and they'll talk about it. But when you come to an outsider, it's nothing. They won't talk to you. So, and it's interesting because it's, my family grew up in this hollow for 70 years, right? My grandparents had this farm, and we don't go to this farm, this side of the farm. That's their land. We don't hunt over here. That's where they're at. We stay here.
Right.
So, and it's very interesting, Bill, once you dive into it and interview these people and talk to them about their encounters and their history. It's just mind blowing. And we have people that's been attacked, like Randy, when he was a child. Chris, remember him on Val's show?
Yep.
His YouTube channel got taken down, and he still is not coming out and talk about it anymore. And I know Brian was trying to get us an interview back with him.
Yeah.
So, and he's got PTSD. He is, got a lot of issues because of his traumatic event that he had when he was a child. I mean, he came out alive, and he got it because he was beaten on the chest, and he was a kid playing with the juvenile with the other kids, and the parents didn't know about it. And Chris and I met a guy, and we're not going to mention any names, that hopefully he doesn't mind me saying this right now, that hopefully we get to have an interview with, that used to lie to his parents and go out and play with the juvenile. And said he was going out and looking for turtles and stuff. And he did this for years.
Wow.
And how he used to go back and visit them as he got older, didn't he, Chris? And I was like, man, I would love to have you to tell your story and everything. And he owns a business now, so he's really scared. And he was like, I never said this before. So we're just trying to let him at his own comfort level, right, to come forward on his own. And I told him the same thing. We can mask your face. You don't have to change your name, whatever. Nobody has to know who you are.
Right.
But he's got a story that is just mind-blowing, that his parents had no idea. Because I told Chris, I'm like, this stuff you cannot make up. And I told Chris and Bill Howard, and it's amazing if you take the people's age and look at it, it's everybody's in around the same age category that's coming forward now. And it's like, I have a story too, and this is my story. And they're starting to break that eggshell and coming out and wanting to tell it, but they're scared because they're prominent people in the community.
Right.
Business owners, politicians, doctors, lawyers, law enforcement, government officials, and they're worried about their careers, their retirements, and so forth, and their credibilities, and there's still the stigmata about it, and stigmas about it, and the black eyes, and and I think Bill just says, and I clicked off of it. Somebody help me find Bill's last comment. Bill. Yeah, I got several people in the area that want to talk to me about UFOs and this phenomenon as being related. Yeah. And Bill, we have people that says a lot that they either see a UFO either before or after Bigfoot. So, I don't discount that, right? It's kind of hard. Bill, I used to draw a line in the sand, and I used to say this a lot on my shows and a lot with my other shows with other co-hosts and people I interview and whatnot. I used to draw the line in the sand, Bill. And every time I did, how can I count somebody's story and not believe somebody else's, right?
Yeah.
So if I interview somebody from California and somebody from Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, South Carolina, Virginia, New York, Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana, all tell me the same story. Wait a minute. Now, there's got to be some validity to that story. There's got to be some truth for me to sink my teeth into, because they're not all talking. They don't know each other, but they all have similarities. So there's got to be some truth in there, right? So everybody's not making up this story. Now, Bill, do I believe there's little Johnny running around in the woods in an ape suit, drunk, causing havoc? Absolutely. Do we have our fakes and hoaxers? Absolutely. Do I think people want their 15 minutes of fame? Absolutely. Now, we talked about on Lala's show, Enchanting with Insights with Lala. Mental health, that is a very big issue in the world. So that's another thing we have to look at, right? So with interviewing, and I admire you, Bill, for what you do, because we all do the same thing when we talk to people about their encounters and how we interview. But it's interesting because we gather all this stuff up and we try to make sense, right? And we compile it. And we look at the similarities and everything, and we look at, okay, I got this information from the West Coast, and this is similar from the East Coast. And Mike, you live where?
Missouri.
Sorry, in Missouri. I didn't mean to catch you in the middle of a drink. And Barb, you live where?
You're
Washington State.
And Chris, you live where?
Florida.
And I live in Kentucky. And everybody's having the similar
everywhere.
Across the country, and everything's similar in nature. So it's weird, right? Now, they may not be similar in structure, in size. They may differ in some of their attributes, what they do and whatnot, but they are still similar in some form or fashion. But the encounters and what they do are all the same. And that's what we look at. And it's very interesting. And when people come forward and say, like Brian's story about the peanut butter, man, this guy will blow your mind. It's funny as hell, but it's just like, there's other people out there. It's like, I'm not the only one. I can't believe he came out and told his story. I've done that too. Because Brian made a public service announcement. And only reason he came forward is because people got upset, and he was worried about what's going to happen to these creatures because he got sick and he couldn't feed them anymore. And they got mad, and they went out to the neighbors' houses where he didn't live and took out the frustration out on the neighbors. And the Fish and Wildlife and the game people got involved and called them bears, and they went after him, right? So and so, so it doesn't matter whether it's UFOs, whether it's Bigfoot, Dogman, paranormal, somehow it's related, and we talked about the electric eel theory, the other night with you, back then, when they grabbed that eel and it rubbed them, or they grabbed them and knocked the hell out of them, they didn't know what that meant, right? So it's I try to understand it.
It's sorcery.
Right. And putting all of our knowledge together and share that to bring forth that evidence. Do we have bodies? Absolutely. The government has it. I'll say that with 100% certainty. They know about it. We have reports, Bill, that people are seeing these creatures with trackers on them, GPS trackers. What does that tell you? They got devices to where they're monitoring them. We have people out in the fields. We're getting reports that they're using night vision goggles, and they look up, and there's drones. They can't see them with the naked eye, but the IR cameras and so forth, they're seeing them. And they're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's drones following these people that are investigating Bigfoot.
I started wondering if that's something to do with the frequencies and the cameras and things like that.
Right.
Have to do with maybe drones or satellites or never know.
So I don't know.
Right.
Jim's camera down. Grizzly, there are animals that can change color, and polar bears, clear fur. Yeah. Yep. And that's one thing I meant to ask Bill. Bill, what color is a polar bear? And I like to know his answer. So answer that for me, Mr. Bill Howard. What color is a polar bear? Now he's probably looking at me, laughing, turning his head like, what does that have to do with anything I'm asking, right? But answer me in the comments, what color is a polar bear? And he's probably laughing like, is this a joke? No, I want to know. I want to know if you know. Bill Howard, this one particular contact has stated UFOs are consistent in this one mountain area. But the people on the mountain are harboring creatures such as Bigfoot and won't allow anyone on the land. We hear that a lot, right? So, because I had this one guy, I think it's out in Oklahoma, interviewed, I think last year, very good guy. And he actually played it on the air, and I couldn't believe it. I was in disbelief. On the property, I think over almost 35 years, he wants to move, but he can't. And I was like, what do you mean you can't? He's like, because I got a family of Bigfoot here, and I'm afraid if I sell, what's going to happen to them? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, because if I leave, are they going to hunt them? Are they going to kill them? I've taken care of them all these years. I don't know what's going to happen. And I hear this a lot with people that live out in the country. Look at that one girl in Tennessee. I lived with them all my life. I give them chicken eggs. I'll go out in the woods in the night, and I sit with them. And we're like, do what? You haven't heard that in a while, ladies and gentlemen, right? So, Mr. Bill, how are you going to answer that question? I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but a lot of people don't know what color is a polar bear. And the reason why I'm asking you that question is because a lot of people answer it wrong. And because Bigfoot, polar bear is actually black. It's not white. Polar bear has white fur, but there you go. Thank you. Did you have to Google that? But no, Mr. Howard, you're right. Now, allegedly, Bigfoot hair is like fiber optic. It's clear. And we have evidence of that, the people that have collected it throughout the world and throughout the United States. So somehow that's how they can camouflage themselves. It soaks up the surrounding, right? So what I say, Brian's asking you, Bill, no, I'm a hunter. He is a hunter. He admitted it. He is a hunter. But I say this, right? So we know electricity can change things, right? And manipulate string theory, vibrations, and all that, right? So remember those pillows that you can rub your hand one way and it's one color, and you rub it the other way, it can change color. So somehow they can manipulate that, I think. That's my theory. How they can step in and out of portals, that's interesting. We have people on our shows that actually brought videos forward where ain't that right, Barb, where a portal opens up.
Yes.
And a Bigfoot, thanks, Chris, for the hair. And a Bigfoot would walk out, or a creature would walk out, and another one would be coming out and walking into the line of the wood. And you cannot make this up, Bill. And this is not CGI or anything like that. And these are credible people in the community. And it's very interesting and it's wild. Now I'll let Chris explain the hair part, because he's got his microscope and everything else. Yeah,
this is a picture of a Bigfoot hair. This is actually a report. I can't remember what site it is. I'll dig it up in a minute. But you see the scales, and that's exactly what Grizzly was talking about, those pillows, which you move one way and you flip it back the other way. I mean, really, you think that has something to do with the technology or biology behind why they can disappear or camouflage so greatly? Because it just has it reflects light differently, and then you can actually apparently looking through the microscope, you can actually see different sheens of color come through, almost like a prism, because it's clear too. Like this has actually been it's light shining down on it, but if you have light coming from underneath, you can see through it.
Wow.
Now,
Chris,
do you have a picture of the clear hair?
Yeah, let me.
Chris, I'm sorry, Brian.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say, Chris, I had to send you all my stuff because it like I don't know what it's like won't allow me to do it. It like just locked me out of everything. So anyway,
yeah, Bill Howard. I did a story on a lady that held the world record bow kill on a polar. She wasn't allowed to bring it back to the U.S. because her laws thought was taken with the permit legally. Yeah. So very interesting, Bill. Yes. And hopefully Chris can bring you a picture because we have people that actually got hair samples off rocks that have been thrown off barbed wire and Bigfoot hair. And it's very interesting. And basically it looks like fiber optic, what it looks like in sometimes, and I'll let Chris explain it because he's got more of the scientific part of it.
Hey, here's the Sasquatch hair. This is a human hair. That's Sasquatch. This is a human. Wow. This is the what do they call it? I always forget the name of it. The medulla. Yes. Medulla? Yeah, the medulla line in a Sasquatch hair is thick and very presentable. Human hair is kind of partially throughout and rather thin. So this is the Sasquatch Genome Project, which is. If you ever want to look it up, I'll drop the link in. It's got a lot of great information on here, but it's got tons of good stuff. But that's just a quick snippet of what it looks like. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Now, do you have a picture of the clear hair that looks like fiber optic?
No. Yeah, give me a minute. I'll have to dig that one up though. It's not in the same
but
spot.
It's real interesting. Now, if you look at Bill Howard, if you look at the fingerprints on these creatures, right? Now, the first time I ever looked at fingerprints on Sasquatch years ago, because I used to be in law enforcement, ours goes in swirls, right? On our fingerprints, and Sasquatches they don't. They go in perpendicular. They go opposite than ours. So they're dermal ridges, and those were very interesting the first time because when somebody first showed me fingerprints, because we use APHIS and stuff when I was in law enforcement, where you use the machine right instead of the rollers and so forth, I was like, wow. I mean, how can you fake that, right? So that was real interesting, and in the way how oldly even Brian Barber. Had the prints on the outside of his peanut butter jars and greasy they were and so forth that he had. It's a fascinating subject, Bill, especially with UFOs and other phenomenon too. And like we said last night, it's one of those rabbit holes, right? That we can go on and on for hours, which I love to entertain anytime. So.
I'll
and
tell
Barb's
you what
got
I
a damn zoo at her place. She's got elementals.
But I wanted to say,
I got this is one. This is my daughter's hair. She's got like strawberry blonde hair, and this is what it looks like under the microscope. So you can see a little bit of it. It's not 100% smooth, but it's not like the scales that are real.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think don't know if I have. That wasn't it. Yeah, that was right. The right ones. I don't know if I uploaded. No, I didn't. I closed it. I thought I had one of my black lab on there, but I didn't anyway. But that one is totally different.
So, Bill Howard, we have different species of elk instance based on local U.S. Canada. Do you think there are several such species of Bigfoot in North America? Yeah, absolutely. And we brought that up on many different shows and episodes. I think we have different species in Barb's area in Pacific Northwest. Florida, the skunk ape, a swamp ape, 5 toes, 4 toes, different body structures, skinnier or slimmer frame, because the humid in hot weather in the south, right? Compared to the upper northwest and Canada, you're more bulkier and thicker and muscular. So yes, I think they're just like humans. I think they're mixed breed, right? Different ethnic backgrounds, and yes. And what's your take, Chris, Mike, and Barb?
I know
Absolutely.
for myself is that I have seen, and they're all the same. It's all the same clan, so they live peacefully amongst each other. But I could have one that would look like a gorilla, like a silverback gorilla face, even with the flat nose. And then another one that looks so much like a human, and they're all there together. They're all living together, and it's just really so. But now I forget who had told us that. But anyway, that because they are hybrids, when you have a hybrid, you can have a variety of features that would be pulled out of both sides of that DNA. So it's just a huge gamut. You can run a gamut of different looks, and it's just so interesting. It's really, really bizarre.
All right, Barb, I've got your stuff up here.
Okay.
For some of it.
Yeah.
And some of them, Bill, we get, and Mike can tell you this, and Chris and Barb, some of them may look like leathery Indian faces, wrinkled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
Start this back over again.
Would be a best guess on Bigfoot population? How many be inbred due to low numbers? That is something I couldn't tell you estimation. What about Mike, Chris, or Barb? Because we do have like Mike Meldrum, right? He's got how many Bigfoot tracks in his collection? I forgot the number now.
Jeff Meldrum.
Jeff Meldrum. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
he's got disfigured tracks, and that to me shows that in some areas where he's received tracks, whether donated or he cast himself, that would indicate that there was some inbreeding. Mike and Barb, I think I'll let you take that case over about how they go out and populate, since you all have a good guess.
Mike? Yeah.
What only thing I know on that is in my area north of me, I've seen every footprint inch increment from 10 to 24 inches. And I've seen, just about every, which tells me there are a lot of them there. But Tom Cantrell, and you guys are familiar with Tom Cantrell. I think he's been a guest on Barb's show.
Yes, he's been with
Open
Grizzly,
Door. Yeah. And Tom, who I've known now for a couple of years, and I, he's with 14 books on this subject, and has been a lifetime of interaction and experience. And he says that to avoid the inbreeding, that they pair them up with other clans. Like Barb's clan, if Barb's clan gets a female of age, they'll take her over, I don't know how many miles away, however many miles they have to go, I guess, to find a suitable mate for her, so that there's not inbreeding, and she'll either go join that clan or he'll go join her clan, or they'll go off and start their own. Who knows how that happens, but he says they will, to avoid the inbreeding, they will make those arrangements. He says, now how they make those arrangements, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And
so that shows, again, signs of an intelligence.
Yes,
definitely. Because they would have wiped out their, whatever they are, don't you think? Yeah, if there was too many problems with inbreeding, it would eventually.
And so, that's, so they are, and some people say, well, they're migratory. Some people say, no, they all stay in the same place. Well, I think it's a combination of everything. Maybe they're going and get this person,
Yeah, I think it depends on the food supply, right? And what
yes.
Yeah, so that would, if
Yeah, Bill, it does. It shows a very high level of intelligence.
Yes, definitely. But,
and going back on the hair that Chris was showing, in the Missouri Ozarks, one of the nicknames for the Bigfoot is the Blue Man, the Blue Man of the Ozarks, because the legend, most of the sightings were around dusk, and when the setting sun hit the Sasquatch at the right angle, it looked blue. So
yeah,
Like that
'Cause they'll look
chameleon
green.
paint
Yeah.
on
They'll
the
look
cards.
green here.
Certain lights looks a different color, right?
yeah, yes. So that
Yep.
nickname stuck, the Blue Man.
Yep,
So
that makes
And what's
sense.
this video of?
So this is on tonight's edition of What is in Barb's Front Yard.
It looks like a deer, a doe.
Yes,
That's
Yes.
awesome.
two. Now, the thing that we still don't know what it is there, but it's moved back a little bit further and it's changed position. So what the heck? And I think I sent you another video of that, Chris. And can we? Yeah. And you know what? This thing turns its head slightly to look at the deer. The deer, obviously, they're not reacting to it being there. So that's so
No.
bizarre. You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so here's just a longer video that I had taken afterwards. And if we can, maybe, are you able to zoom in closer to the thing?
No, not really.
Okay. All right.
Won't
Yeah.
let me.
Darn. Yeah. Because that, remember we were seeing the ears on it. And even when I
Yeah,
shine
last
the light
time.
on it, no, it's like on this night, it has just a round head and it looks like there's little things standing next to it. And yeah. So.
Well, Barb, you showed last week. You put some pictures up, and I was over in Kentucky, and the only internet access I had was on my phone, and so I'm blowing these things up on my cell phone, looking at them, and normally these pictures go up, but I'm usually the biggest skeptic. I'm like, I don't, you can say that's a bush or that's this or that's that. You can make the forest look like anything you want it to look
right.
like.
Yeah. You can.
And,
yes.
and so I've always said you got to be very careful about that. But you put one up, and I sat there and I kind of blew up the area, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's right there. So, but and it was just me and my wife that was there. So I said, hey, come take a look at this. Tell me what you think. And so I showed her. She goes, I see what you're looking at. And she pointed at another face in the picture.
Wow.
That's the one I was looking at.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said, wait. I said,
I'm like, whoa.
I said, wait a minute. I still don't. So I'm looking at this one. But now I see the one you're saying it is. We looked around. We saw 5 faces in that picture.
Yes.
And you can make them out.
Yeah. And it's so bizarre because that's so so this is just a funny thing that happened to me this afternoon. I was working on my laptop and I had my glasses that I need for distance. They were in the kitchen, which I didn't know where they were, and I was using my reading glasses though because of what I needed to see on the laptop. And so I kind of was thinking about something, put my head up, and I'm looking out into that area, into the tree, and I see a black shape of a head come up like this, slowly,
yeah.
And then it went right back, smoothly, right back down. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm trying to find my glasses, and then I finally found them and went out onto the deck, and I couldn't see anything. I took a couple videos, and so I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see anything on the video, but it was
So this is just showing where
it was. And yes, that's all. That's because I just wanted to tell that story. So so I don't know. I have to check the video out later, but this is the one. Okay, now I don't know. Can you guys see that? This is the Bigfoot face close up when it had its head turned. So if you see the conical shape of the head, go up. Well, no, that's like that might even be another one, right? You're almost the spider. It's a spider. No, it's not a spider. Is that a spider web or a thing that my husband had? I don't know. Okay, you're on its one eye. Go a little bit to the left, and you'll be on its eye. That's its right eye, and then. Or no, I'm sorry, left eye. And then if you go over to the further to the right. No, I'm sorry, left. That's his other eye. See that?
It's kind of like behind the spider web.
Yes, It's behind the spider web. Yes.
This is a
Now,
spider web on the camera, right?
yes, yes, of course. And now this is, like I said, this is just this is the best picture that I was able to extract. You can see it blink its eyes, and that was what I was like. I'm not, you know what? I'm not sure what's happening here. I'm not sure what's going on here.
It was
But when it
winking
blinked
at
its
you,
eyes,
Barb.
and it had like the eye shine, I was like, oh my gosh. There is another part of the video where it turns its face a little bit to the right, it would actually be, let me see, to the left, and you can see the side profile. And oh my gosh, it just, really bizarre. So that scared the crap
Pretty
out of
neat.
me. Yeah, this is just a big tree structure that I found on Monday. I'll tell you, what they can do. Like that's
Yeah,
how
one
many?
coming in here.
Yep.
2.
Yeah, the one that's
three
the
different
one on the
ones.
bottom. There's two, and it's hard to tell, but there's two that are like shorter ones that are leaned up against each other, and then there's a bigger one that's leaning in. It's just like I don't even know how they can. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Trying to see if I can zoom in here.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
see what I mean? Like, like they're just kind of stacked, and then there's another one coming out from the to the left, like that's laying there almost horizontal.
Yeah, it's like a floater just stuck in there.
Yeah.
Ridged.
And how do they, because these trees are big and they're heavy, so just, I mean, first of all, like, why would a human even do that? But that'd be dangerous. That would be dangerous for a human to do that. Crazy. But yeah,
It looks like it's not the same tree, is it?
no, there's
No.
a couple trees there.
No.
Yep.
That's not part of this tree. This tree is broken off.
Yes.
This is a different tree entirely. And you got another tree that's meeting in there.
Mhm.
Probably wedged in there to hold that tree up.
Yes.
And then this looks like it's
because-
leaning as well.
Yep.
I don't know if that's in the background or what.
No, I'm
but
not
it's,
sure. That might be a thinner tree in the background. But
And when
but that, sorry.
when you look at those trees, like that, people will say, well, that's the weather that does that. The weather's not gonna, I mean, that's like the weather blowing from 3 different directions simultaneously and just putting those things
pick it
together
up and lay it
in a
sideways.
perfect
I mean,
lead.
Yes.
It isn't working like that. So,
And that one sticking out like from the left, that like it's almost horizontal, that's big, that's thick. So I don't even know
Yes.
where that came from. There's that's certainly didn't come from any of the there's not really that many trees like up above, because as you see, as the trees, they get taller, they get
right.
much skinnier. But
And-
now, when I walk around and look at these, I get in close and I'll look at the bases to see, okay, is this a tree that's fallen? Is there a stump here?
Right.
Sometimes you'll find these suckers pinned in here that's not from there.
Right.
Oh, I've seen that too.
You'll
You're
find
right.
them where, okay, this one rotted out. It
Yeah.
fell. You can see, all
Yes.
right, that was weather. So you'll find ones
Yes.
that aren't there. They're just,
yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
base, no stump, no nothing. And they're like, all right, how the hell did that get there?
Right. Yeah, it's, gosh, yeah. So I think, is that the,
Got one more, it looks like.
oh, this is another, and you'll have to zoom in. This one is just massive. And this just showed up over the weekend.
Where am I zooming at so I can,
Right where your cursor is, right there.
right in this area?
Yeah,
Where
that,
it
yep.
goes where?
Yeah.
In here?
Yeah. So if you can see, and it's hard to see because it's so big, but this massive tree is kind of shoved in on top of another tree. It's not broke. I don't think it's broken off, but it's in between 2 other trees.
Oh, this goes over top.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a tree here and a tree here.
Yeah.
Something that's above it.
And this is the thing, like this tree is so big, if it would have fallen onto the trees, let's say it's weather, that tree's going to take out some trees. See, it's like laying kind of on top of of a bigger broken off tree. It's just, I don't even, this is in the area that I have that video that I said, Bigfoot Row, where there's all kinds of tree structures down this one road. It's just incredible. And now they're building on the other side of it.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's,
and I had sent you a message earlier before the show. I was like, hurry up and send those to me.
Yeah.
The things you sent me were all expired.
Yeah,
I was trying to do them like last minute, and I was going to get the audio done.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh crap, they're not even working anymore. I'm like,
yeah. No, I'll have to check the dates, and I'll have to go through and listen to listen
just
to
resend them to me.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Chris, you got anything since you've been out, or?
I haven't been out. I got to tell the kids stop having kids, and grandkids' birthday parties keep coming up, and then it's like it's been like nonstop with that stuff. Like last weekend was my grandson's third, and then the weekend before that we had a baby shower. I'm just like, but yeah, I plan on getting out this coming weekend.
They don't consider your schedule, do they?
No, they don't. It's interfering in the Bigfootery, but so this weekend I'll get out for a little bit, and then next week I'm heading up to Tennessee and Ohio, so that'll be a fun trip. I'm going up to Gatlinburg, cool. So maybe I can find a place. I do plan on stopping at the Bigfoot Museum up in Georgia. That's on the either way up there or the way back. I'm stopping in there, and it's up in the Blue Ridge area. And
that'd be interesting. That Bigfoot travel center outside of Valdosta, skip that. That's not worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll skip that one then.
Yeah.
Boy, like you've been there already.
You'll see the billboard signs and everything like that. Skip that one. It's not worth
it. No.
Bill said he went there a few months ago.
Yeah.
Gatlinburg or the Smoky Mountain? Smoky Mountains, right? Isn't that the?
Which one, Bill?
National Park.
Yeah, that's Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountain National Park.
Yeah. Oh, that is a major active area. Big time.
But there was something that happened just recently that popped up in the news.
Georgia.
Let's see if it'll stay on it. No, it was in Florida. This was in Florida, down by Fort Myers, the Pine Island area, which is about a couple hours south of me.
Georgia.
Yeah, that's what he meant, Georgia. Yeah, where he was, where Bill was, where Bill was.
Yeah. Bill Howard. Yeah. So somebody snapped a picture. They were out. I think they're canoeing or kayaking.
Kayaking.
So it reminded me of the story that David Sidoti was talking about the other night on the other show Monday night about how somebody was kayaking and basically interrupted a Bigfoot dinner and got charged.
Yeah,
he literally, it was a friend of somebody he knows, and they went to the area to investigate it. Couldn't find anything, but the story he told, he said it was it was another situation where somebody's like, I'm not going back there. No, thank you. I don't want any part of it. But this is the Pine Island area, so I'm not sure exactly where in Pine Island it happened. And of course, they showed David Shealy's video on this one. But pretty interesting. I mean, what do you think that is? I don't know.
That's big.
That's a human. Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it's a guy in waders. Come on, it's a squad blob.
I don't know.
It's tough to say. It's tough to say from a distance. I don't, and it could be there's so much out there that with your artificial intelligence too and stuff like that. But it's tough to say unless you're actually there and you see that thing coming at you or walking around.
Well, you see the movement. It'd be great to have a little video to go with this.
You see the movement. You can examine, the arm swing, and you kind of get an idea, better idea.
It's a bear.
I was say, if he is wearing waders, he's wearing a jacket or something, and it's Florida.
I'm just making fun.
I know. I'm doesn't it here? And to me, it looks really thick, like somebody's either wearing a fur
Chris,
coat.
Like, why would they be? Yeah, and you'd have to know the scale. And so if you're thinking, and I wonder how deep the water is. How deep is the water in that area? Do you have any
I
idea?
don't know. Yeah, that'd be the other question is to
Okay.
go out there, but who knows
Yeah.
exactly where, and that could vary by tides. I mean, that can change
That's
anywhere
true.
from
Right.
2 to 3 feet
Right.
in variance any
Yeah.
given hour. Really, I mean, that changes
Right.
hourly.
Mhm.
So that doesn't really help much at this
No.
point in time. But
Wow,
just
I
looking
still
at it,
give them credit
how
though,
wide
because
it looks like straight down. So even here, not too many people will wear waders. Like when they fish, you see people fishing up north and fly fishing, and they're wearing the
Yeah.
big heavy waders because the
But
water's
not.
cold.
Yeah.
Here,
Mhm.
most people go in their shorts
Right.
and they
The
wear
water, the
tennis
water's not
shoes.
cold.
Nope.
I mean, they wear tennis shoes and they're out there in their shorts. That's the way I
Yeah.
do, at least.
Yeah. No
It's
reason for
it's no sense of trying to stay dry. It really don't matter.
well,
But
I give them credit
yeah,
because
interesting.
at least they got a picture and they didn't freeze. So
Yeah,
I wonder what the story is behind it. Did they say anything? I don't think it did because I think I was looking at it too, and it
it didn't say a whole lot about it.
That was like that one that wait, who showed
Yeah,
us
it
that
didn't
one?
that didn't even say how or why. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Barb.
No, the one that I'm trying to think where it's the one where it's walking through the river, right? That one that we saw, it was like last week, and it's walking through a river. And I feel like when I first saw that, I thought, oh, that's somebody in a costume or somebody just in big heavy clothes. Forget it, that's not one. But then when you see the story and saw more of the video, it was like, oh wait, that did look. And then didn't they do like stabilization on that? And it looked definitely more. Yeah, that one. Yep.
Of course.
Well, that's definitely a kid and a mom. Come on, that's not
Yeah.
a dinosaur. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, they do a good job breaking this down. Let's see if I can jump this. What did I do? Skip it? I did. How did I do that? Hit play.
Hi, Thomas. Brian. Oh, I have to be jacked in wafers to say good.
But yeah, I almost starting to think it was a deer head.
That it's holding.
That you can see the deer head hanging down, and I almost think it's got it over it's like carrying it.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's
I don't think it's juvenile. When I zoomed in and looked at it, almost to me it looks like a deer.
yeah.
Like
Somebody
you see the head
Jean
hanging right there. It looks
carrying
like
a
a head,
baby.
and it.
Do you think it's the
slumped. I
baby?
think it's slumped over its shoulders
Yeah.
because it's got a different color to it and everything. It's almost
Yes.
got the hide of a deer, like the tanner.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a good one. It's compelling,
Could be.
anyway. Oh, it growls. I didn't know that. Oh, I gotta look at this up. Ooh.
You see how the color changes? I think
Yes.
that a lot of what you're seeing is the deer slumped over.
Okay. Wow.
it's interesting. I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Wow.
This is 25 times. He does it stabilizing at different rates, different
Yeah.
speeds.
Oh, Jean said they did a breakdown. Everyone was saying deer and dog, but the breakdown showed baby on the back and one in the arm. Huh.
I don't see two little heads though. I don't see that. But I hear that to me looks like a deer head hanging on that side.
I don't know. Yeah.
See right there also.
Oh
There's an arm.
my
That
gosh.
that looks like a deer.
Oh, wait though. I think what I
Go
see
back
what-
on. Go back to
Yeah,
that.
because I feel like I can see if it is a baby.
But you never know. It could be.
I
Hold
don't,
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, okay. See the little baby's head? Yeah. Like right in the tip of its elbow.
I'm not necessarily seeing deer. It looks like it could be.
yeah, maybe it is maybe in there.
Yeah.
Oh, but I know what Chris
Well,
is saying.
that would be
I
the
wonder-
legs.
Because you look
wonder-
at you look at its left arm, you see a gap between as the left arm hangs over. There's a gap between the arm and the body.
Yeah.
That's just the background is the trees.
Yeah. So Jean said that is a baby. I've seen them carry their babies before. So Jean, where's the other baby? Is it like kind of hanging on to its shoulder? Like, is that what that is? That a baby on the right?
Is there two? Is there two? Is there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say if there was this is a baby, that's the right arm. The left arm's got to be up underneath right here.
The left arm's hanging down. The right arm is
holding the baby.
Is
holding up
like a little sack of groceries or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then how often do they breed? Will they have one that big and another one? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it could be somebody else's too. It could be hers and somebody else's.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Babysitter.
I know. Yeah, the ones here, they'll be holding a couple babies, and it's not.
And Barb saw that it was like a juvenile male holding the one you saw.
Yes. Yeah. A male or I don't know what I don't know what it was, but definitely wasn't an adult. Yeah.
Right.
Crazy video.
Tom Cantrell had told us that, Mike, that they put the male juveniles typically in charge, like they're the babysitters.
They will, and Tom has told me that like, and of course, I don't want to go back to my interaction with the females, but he said,
why not?
the ditch, ladies and gentlemen.
Singing Grizzly.
Oh, darling, please believe me.
The point I'm making is if there is a female, there are 2 to 3 juvenile males flanking it as its protectors. And they would, so you got to be careful what you say to them, Grizzly.
Yeah. You don't want to misgender them. Oh boy, they would not like
that. Do not wear Stetsons, ladies and gentlemen. So
Grizzly, when are you gonna you got
probably
plans?
Next week? Yeah,
okay,
next week probably. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yippee!
So it's going to be interesting. So I got 4 or 5 more to put out. I don't know what's left out there. Is there any left or they're destroyed? I have no idea. So
I can't wait. I want to see them.
Yeah. I checked on one behind the house where they had to go too far in the woods just to make sure it was still on the tree. It's still there. Okay. So it was hard not to pull out the memory card just to take a sneak peek, but I didn't.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
Fingers crossed, right? Hopefully you get something.
Plan A. I still got the E, so I got different tactics we're going to try.
Yep.
So,
that's exciting. Yeah.
But yeah. So Bill's got some good questions. So anytime you got questions, Bill, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's for sure. So
just gave him a link and brought him on.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very interesting questions. That's for sure. And we got Brian Barber on Chit Chat Corner on Friday night with Kat. That's gonna be an interesting show.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Them two together. Woo,
what are they gonna, is there a subject that they're, or do we know?
I'm leaving it up to them wherever they go. Cool. And, I just hope they got AAAs. I'm not calling the tow truck on this one. Yeah. Well, hopefully Brian's got his waders on. So yeah.
We're full season. Bring home the chiggers. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not getting chiggers this time, ladies and gentlemen. There ain't no way.
Do you have
ate alive last time?
Do you have waders that you can wear?
Yeah, I do have waders.
So maybe you should wear them. Seriously.
I sprayed myself. I didn't get ticks, but I got chiggers galore.
But yeah.
So, and poor Brian, he was like, all this time I thought it was. Never mind. I ain't gonna go there, Brian.
So would you wear shorts out there when you went out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And I thought they were turkey. What I call them? Is Bill still here?
Buzzard? Is it buzzard turkey?
No, turkey. What are they called, Bill? I can't even think of it now. Not turkey. Not turkey fleas. Turkey ticks or turkey mites.
Oh,
I thought they were turkey mites. I was getting eaten alive. Turkey
Vultures.
vultures. Yeah, we got those too out where I live.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know
I
what
thought
I
they
did?
were turkey mites, and somebody showed me what chiggers were, and I was like,
Ew, that's it. Ooh.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but I
I
did
did
spray
read
myself. But yeah,
an article that about the one of the bodies that they found in after Mount St. Helens had erupted. One of the bodies had 4 like types of lice. One of the Bigfoot bodies.
yeah.
That
Well,
aren't.
deer gets
Yeah.
lice, they get ticks and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah. And I thought, oh wow, ew, poor
Yeah.
things.
People do too. So
Yeah, yeah, yep.
all right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Mike,
Thanks,
hopefully y'all have a
everybody.
good night. Barbara and Chris.
Yes, thank you.
And
Yeah,
hopefully
you
everybody
too.
has
Good
a
night,
good show
guys.
and the rest of the week. So
Yeah, yeah. We have Ashley tomorrow night, and she's going to tell us about. Oh, she's a bunch of stuff to tell us about. So,
Okay,
And then
wait.
Monday
Yeah.
night we got Russell coming on.
Oh,
Well, that'd be a
great!
good one.
Eastbrook. Easterbrook.
Yes,
Eastbrook.
yay! Love Russell. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. So from coast to coast and around the world, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. You have a good night.
Good
Night.
Good
night.
night,
Godspeed.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mike.